In September 2019, engineers at the University of Alaska Fairbanks published their 4-year study on World Trade Center Building 7, a 47-story high-rise that collapsed at 5:20 p.m. on 9/11. Based on drawings from Building 7's construction, the engineers created sophisticated computer models of the structure. What did they discover? Contrary to the government's account, fires could not have caused the collapse. This should come as no surprise, since no steel-framed high-rise had ever collapsed from fire before 9/11. The models also show that the only way to replicate the observed collapse is to simulate the failure of every column at nearly the same time. Ask yourself, which model looks more like the actual collapse?
And I turned in time to see what looked like a skyscraper implosion. Looked like it had been done by a demolition crew.
It was almost as if
Science
it were a
confirms
planned
what your
implosion.
eyes tell
It
you.
just pancaked.
Amazing, incredible.
Building 7
that you
did
were.
not
For the
collapse
third
from
time
fire.
today. It's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Here you can see the paper from the University of Alaska Fairbanks. 3 PhDs authored this paper. I'll include the link in the description below. Moving on to the abstract now, I'd like to direct your attention to the final paragraph. The principal conclusion of our study is that fire did not cause the collapse of WTC-7 on 9/11, contrary to the conclusions of NIST and private engineering firms that studied the collapse. The secondary conclusion of our study is that the collapse of WTC-7 was a global failure involving the near simultaneous failure of every column in the building. Let's now look at some more detailed findings. Columns 79, 80, and 81 did not fail at the lower floors of the building. Instead, they needed to have failed at the upper floors of the building all the way to the penthouse. Yet there were no documented fires above floor 30. Therefore, fire did not cause the collapse of columns 79, 80, and 81, nor the collapse of the east penthouse. I'll let you read the rest of these conclusions for yourself, but I would like to highlight their final finding. On page 111 of the final report, it says, "It is our conclusion that the collapse of WTC-7 was a global failure involving the near simultaneous failure of all columns in the building, and not a progressive collapse involving the sequential failure of columns throughout the building. Despite simulating a number of hypothetical scenarios, we were unable to identify any progressive sequence of failures that could have taken place on September 11, 2001, and caused a total collapse of the building, let alone the observed straight-down collapse with approximately 2.5 seconds of free fall and a minimal differential movement of the exterior." Just to recap, this draft paper, A Structural Reevaluation of the Collapse of World Trade Center 7, was written by 3 PhDs in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering after 4 years of research at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. I encourage you to download the paper for yourself and read it over carefully. I'll include the link in the description below.